Hi everyone, thank you for stopping by for another video. In today's video we will take a look at dementia and Parkinson's diseases. A subscriber King V asked for a video on dementia and Parkinson's. These are both conditions of the brain, and so we will look at what Dr. Sebi had to say as it relates to the central nerve system and the brain specifically. Dr. Sebi always re-emphasized that there is only one disease, and that is mucus that results from the compromising of the mucous membrane. Wherever the mucous membrane is compromised or broken, this results in excess production of mucus. What usually compromise the mucous membrane is acids and toxins. This acidity or acidosis is mostly as a result of what we eat or drink. Since both dementia and Parkinson's are diseases of the brain, both these conditions result from mucus on the brain. I will now play a clip of Dr. Sebi, and then we will briefly look at dementia and Parkinson's, particularly some of the symptoms.
Alzheimer's.
She has Alzheimer's, yes, sir.
Okay, Alzheimer's. That's a brain problem, right? Remember what I said? There's only one disease? Okay. When you have mucus in the nasal passage, it is sinusitis. When you have mucus in the bronchial tubes, it's bronchitis. When you have mucus in the lungs, it's pneumonia. But now you have mucus where? For you to have Alzheimer's, where is the mucus? So we have to remove the mucus from out of the system, especially the brain, but then we have to feed the brain. That's where biochemistry comes into play.
Let us first look at some of the main symptoms of both conditions of dementia and Parkinson's, then look at how we can address these conditions according to Dr. Sebi's teachings. What is dementia? Dementia is a syndrome characterized by a decline in cognitive function that interferes with daily life and independent functioning. It affects memory, thinking, orientation, comprehension, calculation, learning capacity, language, and judgment. What is Parkinson's? Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder that primarily affects movement. It is characterized by the gradual loss of dopamine-producing neurons in a region of the brain called the substantia nigra. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in coordinating movement, and its depletion leads to the motor symptoms associated with Parkinson's disease. These symptoms typically include tremor, involuntary shaking of the hands, arms, legs, jaw, or face, often occurring at rest. Bradykinesia, slowness of movement, which can make simple tasks such as buttoning a shirt or walking difficult and time-consuming. Rigidity, stiffness or resistance to movements in the limbs or trunk, which can cause muscle pain and impaired posture. Postural instability, impaired balance and coordination, increasing the risk of falls, particularly in later stages of the disease. In addition to these primary motor symptoms, Parkinson's disease can also cause a range of non-motor symptoms, which may include cognitive changes, such as memory problems and difficulty with concentration and multitasking. Mood disorders, including depression and anxiety. Sleep disturbances, such as insomnia or excessive daytime sleepiness. Autonomic dysfunction, leading to problems with blood pressure regulation, digestion, and urinary function. Sensory symptoms, such as decreased sense of smell or vision problems. Speech and swallowing difficulties. These are some of the symptoms of these conditions. Let's play another excerpt of Dr. Sebi. Please note that even though Dr. Sebi was asked a question about Alzheimer's, the focus is to address the brain itself. Depending on where the compromise occurs and the severity, which may also be influenced by other health issues, a disease may manifest itself in many different symptoms.
Mucus where? For you to have Alzheimer's, where is the mucus? So we have to remove the mucus from out of the system, especially the brain, but then we have to feed the brain. That's where biochemistry comes into play. The brain, like if the sister was suffering with rickets, that's bones, right? So we have to address calcium. If she had leukemia, it would be blood, that's iron. But now she has Alzheimer's. She has mucus in the brain, which prevents the brain from receiving what? Oxygen. Now, what is the brain composed of? Copper and carbon. That is what produces electricity. Copper and carbon. We know that the central nervous system depends on what? The central nervous system depends on copper and carbon. Why? Because the brain is copper and carbon. It produces electricity. The friction of copper and carbon produces electricity. That I was able to extrapolate from Mr. Benjamin Banneker. It was then that I realized that for me to adequately nourish the brain, I had to find those substances. And I could only find them in certain places of the planet. I find them in the King Keliba in Africa. I find them also in the Marula. I find them in the Popa. This is what we put together recently, is the African formula.
Dr. Sebi mentioned in another video that there are 2 stages or parts to the healing journey. Part 1 involves cleansing the system. Part 2 involves revitalizing the system. To cleanse and revitalize the system, you need more than just one herb. Rather, it is better to create a healing program to address the illness. Dr. Sebi created Chelation 1 and 2, which include the Holy Thistle, Cascara Sagrada, Prodigiosa, Paparira and Rhubarb. These herbs together help to remove toxins, acids, mucus and begins cleansing the colon and the cells, while also providing nourishment in the form of minerals during the cleansing process. Iron is also necessary, so an iron formula like BioFerro, which includes herbs such as yellow dock, burdock root, elderberry, cocoa mica, sarsaparilla, and chaparral. Iron also helps to bring oxygen to the brain. Viento. It is said to be very effective in reversing extreme conditions. It revitalizes the system. It contains a high concentration of iron, which helps to fight inflammation while providing oxygen, which is a cell proliferator. It includes herbs such as sapo, contribo, chaparral, valerian, sea moss, bladderwrack and ombre grande. In summary, you may consider the following. 1. Chelation 1 and 2 herbs can be used to begin cleansing the body, including the colon and the cells. 2. BioFerro formula herbs are used to nourish and bring oxygen to the cells, including the brain. 3. Viento also brings oxygen to the central nervous system, which includes the brain. 4. Herbs that also specifically help to electrify the brain, such as Kinkeleba, Mariala, and Popa. In addition to the herbs, one of Dr. Sebi's first recommendations is to stop eating the garbage, that is primarily meat and starches. Dr. Sebi also considers fasting to be an effective tool of healing, which involves taking the herbs, along with natural spring water and occasionally consuming fruits for those who have difficulty fasting. For some people, fasting can be a challenge, especially if they are not used to it or have never fasted before. One should at least start with Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide, in addition to using the herbs. Then they could start fasting slowly, such as once or twice per week at first, then gradually increasing the number of days until they are able to fast for longer periods. In an attempt to heal the body, you will find that fasting is unmatched. Please note that the purpose of this video is not to treat or diagnose any condition. This is for discussion purposes and sharing information about the African biomineral balance. Let's have a discussion below. It is helpful to interact with the video by liking, commenting, and sharing. This channel is not monetized at this moment, but you can choose to support by visiting the website and purchasing an ebook. Thank you.